My one hesitation about homeschooling was teaching my daughter how to read. And part of that, I think, was me as a homeschool mom being like, can I teach my kid how to read? Am I capable of doing this? Reading was kind of this big scary thing. And I was a good reader as a kid, but I didn't love it. That was one of my biggest fears was, do I know how to read well enough to teach my kid how to read? And how complicated is it? And turns out it's really not that complicated. I kept trying to use these certified curriculums and they just weren't working. They were boring. I had to drag her to the table and I was like, oh my goodness, this is just not working for us. She loves learning. It just was not, just the way it was taught wasn't working. So I decided to try it. I figured worst case scenario, Amy says that if I don't like it, I can return it, which again is really nice because a lot of digital curriculum that's not the case. It's so telling of how much you believe in it that you're like, if you don't like it, I'll give you your money back because you're probably going to love it and you're going to use it. So that's exactly what happened. I tried it. And once we started, I thought, oh, we'll do it 2 or 3 days a week. No, my daughter wanted to do it every day. Every single day she wanted to do it. And she couldn't wait for what's the next thing. Sometimes it can be scary to pick something new and think, is this actually going to work? Is my kid going to know how to read? And my daughter turns 7 tomorrow and she knows how to read. It's not as scary as I thought it was going to be. And it's a lot more fun than she thought. It was just fun. And she wanted to do it when we weren't even doing school time. We can do the lesson and then she can continue to play. And it's kind of like a little plaything we can keep in the car or at the doctor's office. And 2-in-1, she's learning how to read, practicing her skills, while also having kind of a play mat to use to expand her imagination of what she would have normally done if all she had was the cow and the pig and the chicken. It was hers. This is her book. She wants to show that book to people. And she actually brought it to one of the play dates and the kids were playing on it. The parents were like, what is that? And I was like, oh, I'm not getting paid for this sponsorship. I promise. They're like, what is that? That looks so fun. They're like, oh, are they play mats? And I was like, no, it's actually her reading program. They're like, what? Wow, that looks so cool. And then quite a few people after that were like, wow, my kid has actually started to learn how to read. Thanks for showing that to me. She keeps practicing it, which is something that a lot of the curriculums build in that spiral thing. But this has a built-in one that actually hasn't been created by you. It's the one that's been created by the kids because they've invested in it so much that they want to go back to it and they want to add, oh, last time I didn't have my cow, so let's have my cow. He can be in charge of this part of it. Don't be afraid to try something new. We're kind of wired to want the same thing that we've used previously or proven things in our minds. But if we always just did the same old thing, we wouldn't progress at all. It has been proven. Enough people have used it to add it to the list of proven curriculum. Don't be afraid to try something that works for your kid, because otherwise you're just going to keep doing the same thing and your kid might learn how to read, but it might take them 3-4 years and they're not going to love it. And the point is to get your kids to love learning. My daughter's vocabulary, not even just the words that she's learned how to read, but her vocabulary from imaginative play with this program is incredible. People are like, she's 6, but she's turning 7 tomorrow. And they're like, she's only 6 years old and she used this word. I'm like, yeah. And it doesn't take very long. It really is 5-10 minutes a day. And you're telling me your kid will ask to do it more. It's 10 minutes. Your kid will run over to want to do it. In fact, they might hand it to you before you're even ready to do it. Don't be afraid to try it.